I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch. The name of the song is called Free Falling. I don't know if that's a cover of the original song or if they're doing something altogether different. But as we said previously, it is by The Warning.
Here we go. Song number 1.
I put my life in your hands. I gave you my trust, and I believed every lie that came out of your mouth. I'm getting so deep, drowning in my fears.
was Warning.
The Warning.
The Warning.
And the name of the song was Free Falling.
Free Falling. That sounded... There was a Christian band I was listening to like 10, 15 years ago. Simon Brading was the guy's name. And the chorus sounded exactly like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like
That's interesting.
Like, but you know, like when we really started digging in and reviewing metal music, we started to see how all the Christian bands were just stealing from like.
What a disappointment.
Remember they were just.
I was like, hey, I've heard this before. No, wait, he didn't have these lyrics though.
Yeah, it was like.
I thought this was a song about Jesus.
Everything was exactly the same. They didn't even try to hide the shit. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, because if you came out and said, "Hey, you copied that other band," then you were looked at. You know what I mean? Like, wait, you were listening to that secular music?
Yeah.
How do you know what Metallica sounds like?
It was just kind of funny to me. You know what I'm saying?
Thou shalt not steal.
Yeah. So now I'm listening to this band. I'm like, Simon Brading, you son of a bitch. You probably stole this from a bunch of Latina girls.
Oh my God.
What's wrong with you?
What's happening here? All right. Do you want to pull up the lyrics over there?
Yeah. Well,
her voice can get kind of aggressive,
computers.
right? Sounding.
You know what I'm saying? I should play that Simon Brading song like right next to this song.
Do it right now.
Because like the chorus, I'm telling you, it sounds exactly the same. It's uncanny.
See, I just pull it up on my phone and play it by the microphone.
All right. Mm-hmm. So this is a little bit dramatic to me. I put my life in your hands. That's what it feels like when you're in a relationship when you're a teenager. By the way, guys, type 22 if you can hear us okay, and that there's no echo. What's the deal with Latinas? Why are people obsessed with them? Well...
Yes, Vin, why?
You would pass as a Latina. If you were a Latina, people would believe you because you got that brunette hair. You should have said that shit. But... Yeah, but it's better.
Still waiting for
It's better if you're white because then, like, I don't know. Does it count as interracial if the person is with a Latina person?
I heard. I mean, it is. That is interracial, but I don't know if people would call it that. I would assume so. You still have to deal with different cultures that you're meshing together.
I put my life in your hands. I gave you my trust, and I believed every lie that came out of your mouth. I'm getting soaked in my tears, drowning in my fears.
I believed that we had a chance, but it all went away with a single glance. A glance? What happened?
Well,
he was looking at another girl?
I'm sure they were like vibing or whatever. He was really feeling shorty, but then... Where are they from? What state? Where are they from? DJ
I thought they were from New Mexico for some reason. I thought that's what we learned. Maybe not.
So, like, I mean, it's teenagers.
Yeah, I'm a light-skinned Latina.
Yeah, you'd be a light-skinned Latina. But it's like, it's teenagers. Like...
But it feels so intense at that age.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I married... like my high school sweetheart, so you can't trivial. I've never like trivialized young love. At the same time, though, like if it's a kind of relationship that literally gets undone the first time it gets tested, like how serious of a relationship was it? But this is what we talked about a couple nights ago, where like dudes and girls interpret situations differently.
Yeah, I just don't know if a relationship, if you're considering it like serious, because of what you just said, like the first time it's tested, it ends.
Yeah,
I think
like
that,
how serious of a relationship?
Well, I don't think that it's necessarily the seriousness of a relationship that necessarily dictates how people are going to respond to when it ends. But I think that when you're young, and like you know how when you're a kid and you stub your toe, it's like a big deal. And now if I trip and stub my toe, I mean that's it. You just keep going. It's like frustrating, but you keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like. I think as a teenager, you're experiencing that romantic love for the first time, and so it's full of possibilities. You haven't seen all of the horribleness that can happen in relationships. Maybe you go into it a little bit more trusting, a little bit more open. what are they carrying your heart on your sleeve or something?
But I just think songs like this, because you never hear songs like this on the other side where the dude is saying one glance and you left me type thing. You never really hear songs like that, but you hear songs like that all the time with women. Like they're always worried. And the other thing too is like, how did that work? One glance? Did she break up with him because he was looking at Shorty, or
maybe she just
like,
means
there's
that
there's a lot of questions.
it started with that, but it led to so much more. Maybe that's what she means. You know, like
Okay, Dwayne. I don't know if Dwayne is messing with me or not, but he's saying I can't hear. Turn up the volume. Did we turn? What about? Yeah, I think
that's
that
way
was
up.
probably
That's
that
all the
was
way up
probably
on
the
mine now.
problem.
But that's echoing like a lot. I don't know if it's gonna show up in here.
You're hearing the echo in here? Yeah, but I haven't heard
It sounds like
anybody.
you just turned it down.
I haven't heard anybody say anything about the echo.
Okay.
Bob Abernathy says it's too loud.
Yeah, I thought so. It looked like it was just way too much. Let's go here. Yeah, the other thing too is that, you know, when you're a teenager, that hyperbolic language, like,
Right. I put my life in your hands.
yeah, especially
like,
if you're creating art.
I would be really worried if any of our daughters like started off any relationship like that at the age they're at. I'd be like, what?
Wait.
But like, I mean, I do remember being that young, but we didn't really have that mentality. Maybe like that's one of the terrible things about growing up in the ghetto. Like when we were around 16, I had one friend that was like, I want a relationship, blah, blah, blah. And like we mocked him mercilessly.
Mm-hmm.
Like toughest dude in the crew, in my opinion. But that was his like weakness, was girls. And it wasn't like girls like, ooh, that one. It was just he wanted a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And he genuinely did. Like, he wanted relationships with like an 8.5 or above, but he still wanted relationships. You see what I'm saying? So like, but we mocked him. But that was never something that we were like, oh, we want to get into a relationship. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
not crazy though for him.
Like, when
It's
we
not
hit
like
high
what's
school-
his face.
Huh?
You saying that he wanted an 8.5 or above or something like that. I think he could have got an 8.5.
Well, my point is like, it's not that, oh, look at you. Okay. Well, okay, you could have got an 8.5.
Well,
That's
it's
good
not
to
like
know.
the other person you said where it's like it's like, that's outlandish. You're asking for something you can't have.
Who, you talking about? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
have any game.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so I'm not saying he was crazy. I'm just saying like that's how we treated him, you know, for wanting a relationship, because all of our role models were saying like, you know, money over bitches and blah 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 blah. So it was like, if you gave yourself to a female, like if you gave your heart to, you know, me give my heart to a woman, like,
Not for nothing. Never
like,
happened.
you know,
I'll be
it was like, it was a
forever
sign of weakness at the time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, we never had one of those. So then the girls at the time were not like, I'm gonna give you my heart and all this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and if you did, if they caught you, you know, they would get violent and shit. They wouldn't like cry. They'd get violent. If I see this nigga, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's almost like we weren't even allowed to have like the kind of like puppy love, whatever drama.
Oh,
Because like there was this meta narrative on top of everything, because none of us had fathers to,
gee.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. I believed we had a chance, but it all went away with a single glance. Lewis says, I think it's about the government and politics.
Well, no, I don't think so.
You
It
know,
might
if
be.
those girls made that song about that, like they would probably be like the greatest of all time. And I will say, like, that kind of sounds funny to say something like this to a political leader, but like, if you think like Bernie Sanders, for example,
What, Lewis? Why did you do that?
but just listen. I'm not gonna get like into politics. I'm just gonna like, so Kyle Kalinske was like a giant Bernie Sanders. And I will say, like, Bernie had some of the most emotional videos, because it was just, he's kind of like a stodgy personality, not very welcoming.
Mm-hmm.
But then like you're hearing you're hearing people say, I'm going to kill myself because I can't pay any bills, whatever, my Medicare. And he'd be like, you're not going to kill yourself. You're going to figure something out. We'll talk afterwards. And then, like, sure enough, afterwards, he was talking with dude. So, like, Kyle Kalinske, like, would cry. Like, he would look at these Bernie Sanders, commercials or whatever, and he'd cry. He'd be like, look at this ad.
Oh, wow.
And he would, like, literally cry. So, like, I could definitely understand a person, like, writing a love song to a political figure who disappointed them. You see what I'm saying? Like, because folks' emotions get really tied up.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's...
You took my fantasies. You turned my word upside down. You wore me down not knowing you were hurting me this much. Now I can't go back. There'll be no more of us. I mean, that's tough. But see right here, like, this is kind of like a running conversation you and I had. She says, you wore me down not knowing you were hurting me this much. So now the relationship is over, apparently, and he's getting held responsible for doing this to her, even though she says explicitly, you didn't know that you were doing it. So that tells me Shorty wasn't communicating.
Maybe she wasn't communicating. I mean, that's possible.
Well, how could he do it without knowing if she was communicating that much?
That could be her just, like, giving him the benefit of the doubt, like, you were doing this, but, you didn't know. Because maybe she doesn't want to face the fact that he was, doing it on purpose.
AT is with me. He's saying how to communicate better and prevent that.
Yeah, that's probably what it is, It's not my strong suit, so.
Well, it's just... It's very interesting, the dynamic. It's because, like, she's saying, you were hurting me all this time, this deeply, and you didn't know. And it's almost like him not knowing increases his guilt. Because it's like, you should have known this. Like, there's
it does sound like that.
There's no, like, hey, I should have communicated, I'm going to learn that the next time. It was like, you were hurting me this much, and you're such a bad person because on top of the fact that you were doing it, you didn't know that you were doing it, but you should have known better. Me personally, like, I just don't do that as a policy. That's the reason why, even though I can guess accurately, I am never going to, like set up that dynamic, because, like, you end up hearing stuff like this. You took my fantasies. You told my world. Like, it seems to me like a lot of, like, the things that, like, mess up relationships, like when people, like, break up or divorce, whatever, has to do with the fact that one person failed to deliver on the fantasy promise to the other person. Like, which, during the dating season or whatever, like I was explaining it during, I'm like, y'all are auditioning or interviewing for the job of girlfriend or boyfriend. So obviously they're going to put
their best foot forward. Nobody's putting everything all on the table.
So then it's like, oh, this is not the person I hooked up with. It's like, yeah, it is the person you hooked up with, like 100% the person you hooked up with, for sure. But, like, when you're young, you don't really, you've got to, like, have that situation happen a couple times before you realize, well, wait a second, like, this keeps happening. Either it's something that's unique to me, or everybody. Like, I was watching Tommy Lauren, whatever her name, the blonde girl, Kevin Samuels, and she was talking about, like, how all of her girlfriends are going out with these terrible guys, and there's a man crisis and all that. This dude was just hitting it and quitting it. And so she's like, yeah, it's like, and Samuels is like, if it's happening to all of you, then maybe there's, like, a pattern emerging that you can then divine so as to avoid such an eventuality. But, like, Shorty wasn't getting it. So, like...
Well, I think that comes because it's very easy. And I think that a lot of, well, okay, I'm going to talk about the people that I've been around. It does seem like there's a lot of misandry where women hate men for certain reasons. So I think that it's easy to look at that situation and be like, wow, this is exactly how all men are, because those are the experiences that you're having. Instead of being like, yeah, like you said, maybe I'm doing something that's attracting a certain type of person, and that type of person keeps treating me the same way. Well, maybe there's something that I can make an adjustment so I attract a different type of people, or you start noticing, I mean, there's some people, it's just the same thing over and over and over. But it's interesting because when I was, so we're Christians, so obviously we believe in original sin. That means when people are born, they are automatically sinners. They're
born selfish.
Yeah, they're born selfish. You just know that at any day, all of a sudden you're gonna see who they are and how they react to things. And anyway, shoot, I just got distracted because the little homie starts chatting over there. But
communication.
No, I think I was gonna say like you. I don't know. Just go ahead. I'll jump back in when it.
I mean.
Oh, born sinners thing. That's what I was going to say. We believe that people are born sinners, but I had this understanding that you could like basically attain perfection, and that eventually you could, become almost sinless. That's what I believed. I don't know where I got that idea from because I don't even know if that's what I was being taught. But anyway, because of that idea, like I thought that basically all men were bad, but I did believe that there's a possibility that you could find somebody who is actually working on like themselves as a person and that they were basically on their path to perfection. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you know that people all have problems and you're with somebody and you're like, this person's perfect, then you're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Where's your flaw? Everybody has them.
G Garcia said, pointing out men's flaws is not misandry. I agree. I just don't think it's a flaw that he was hurting her so deeply and she never communicated. I don't think it's on him in that situation. Like if wearing a red shirt hurts your feelings and every day the guy wears a red shirt and you're like, oh my God, he's hurting me. He's killing me. He should know that me wearing this red shirt is what's causing all this. Like, I don't, but you did make the misandry comment. So where was that coming from?
Well, I was just saying that it seems like a lot of women, the mindset that they have, and I'm not speaking for all women, I'm speaking about the most vocal ones that I see maybe in the circles that I'm in. It just seems like that there's a lot of like hatred toward men, like that, men are basically practically useless. We can do everything without them because life is modernized. And I don't think that you don't need a man like you needed a man X amount of years ago. But at the same time, but it just seems like that there's this sort of sarcastic disregard for men, just generally speaking, a lot of times but maybe it's the circles that I'm hearing,
it's definitely part of certain subcultures. I think a song like this is like universal to a lot of young girls' experiences in the Western world, especially around that age, 14. 14's still a little bit young to me, but these kids are all growing up so fast now because of social media. Mm-hmm. This sounded like a typical breakup song to me, although, like, there are, like, if you look at the breakup songs, like, you can almost tell, like, what the problems were. And a lot of times it just stems down to communication. It's communication and just, like, willful self-delusion. Like, the majority of breakups, I'm sorry, from the female perspective, to me, seem to be like communication issues, or dude was absolutely an absolute monster long before you knew it. You thought you were going to change him. You didn't change him, and now you're upset about it. Like, I feel like those are universal songs that if you as a parent are your daughter's playing those songs, like, those are important conversations to have. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was having that conversation with my brother about like listening to the songs that your kids are listening to as a way of,
Yeah.
But yeah. As G Garcia says, I can see that there is some anger between men and women, but fortunately for men, there are no female equivalents of dangerous incels. That's true. It's true. Women generally are not predisposed to violence if they feel that they're rejected.
No, right. Right, yeah.
Like, it's I agree. It's not the same. What do you get this song?
This must have been one of their earlier ones because they were a lot younger. I think.
Keep in mind, they did this live and they're like 14, 15 years
Right,
old.
their
at the
voices.
time.
When the second singer came in and started singing, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
it's so cute. I guess, yeah, that's true. You gotta factor in their age and stuff. I'm gonna give this one this is gonna be an 8.
An 8.
Mm-hmm.
This is a solid 9.1 for me, dear listener. 9.1 to me.
But there's more to come.
More on the way. The night is
More
just begun.
conversations.
Shout out to DJ Mike Franco. We're on our game, dear listener. We shall return.